Check it out, check it out, check it out. We back, dropping more jewels. But before we get started, what we want to do is pour some libations. Alright, we're going to start these libations, and we libate in order to empower ourselves spiritually. This is one of the most ancient practices that existed all over planet Earth. To the Holy Mother, Ashe. To the Holy Father, Ashe. To the cosmic ancestors, Ashe. To the terrestrial ancestors, Ashe. To the spirit of the earth, Ashe. To the element of the fire, Ashe. To the element of the water, Ashe. To the element of the air, Ashe. We ask that you be with us, guide us, and protect us in this age of craziness as we move from nothingness into somethingness. Ashe. Alright. So, well, we got our libations out the way. We want to raise the energy up. Libations also raise the energy up in your environment, and it is a tool to transmute frequencies in your environment. The other thing we're going to do is raise up this crystal energy, because crystals also raise up energy and they transmute energy based upon where your mind tells the energy to go. Alright, now, take the energy in, breathe, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And remember to breathe from your hara, your tendian, your power spot. Today's video, what we're going to be talking about is the earth providing us new energy for ourselves to help raise us up? But before we do that, I got this PSA for you, alright? And we need to understand that in the 90s, when I first got on this path I'm on, fasting was one of the mechanisms that I used to help raise my vibratory rate of my cells. I learned in about the middle of the 90s, the more you eat, the quicker you die. Huh? And this is because the present food supply is nothing but dead food, including your fruits and your vegetables. Your fruits and your vegetables are minerally deficient as well as full of pesticides. So one of the things I learned when I would do my 3-day fast, 7-day fast, is that the more I fasted, the higher my energy felt. And after fasting, spending years fasting, what I realized was I could no longer eat a whole lot of food. I hate that feeling of being stuffed. Maybe 2 or 3 times a year I do that during Christmas, Thanksgiving, yada, yada, yada. So we must understand the fact that since food originally was supposed to have the enzymes in it to break it down, right? But when you cook it, you kill the enzymes. So what happens is your body spends all this energy producing all these enzymes to digest your dead food, right? Okay. So this is why when you get 40, 50, 60 years old, you start to get depleted because your body is using up all these enzymes to process this dead food. And because you don't replenish the minerals and trace minerals in your body, when you get to 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, you become minerally depleted. And so when you become minerally depleted, then that means that your body has less fuel to produce enzymes and hormones. This is what's going on planet Earth right now. All right? So around 2000, I was reading an article in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution talking about one of these schools, I think it was Georgia Tech, had did an experiment with mice. They took mouse A, fed him X amount of grams. He lived 3 months. They took mouse B, fed him half of what they fed A, and mouse B lived 6 months. They took mouse C, fed him half of what they fed mouse B, and mouse C lived 9 months. So it's the moral to the story. The more you eat, the quicker you die. Right? You don't need all that food. If you're not an athlete, if you're not a young child or old person, you don't need 3 meals a day. I know, because I grew up eating 3 meals a day, and as an adult playing semi-pro football, eating 5 and 6 meals a day. And when I quit all that, what I began to notice is I started to age slower. All right. So the next thing I want to tell you is, I saw a video last week. This doctor had cancer on his tongue. And he went and participated in a medical study. Listen now. The medical study was to see the effect of fasting on cancer cells. Right? So, the empirical data from the study showed that fasting starved the cancer cells and made them die. And what the doctor said was, the first few weeks he started fasting, it was hard to do. When his body became conditioned to fasting, he noticed his energy started skyrocketing. Your body spends so much energy processing this dead-ass food. That's why you get the itis after you eat. You ain't no goddamn good. Your body got to spend all that goddamn energy to process that dead-ass food. Right? All right. So, we must understand the concept then. We need to retrain our mental and our bodies. You don't need all that food. All right? I know, because I can go dinner to dinner. I do a 24-hour fast, dinner to dinner, right? And when you get up in the morning and you break your fast, did you catch that? You break your fast, break fast, word sound. I know when I get up in the morning, generally I'll eat at lunch. And most of the time I eat fruits and vegetables during lunch. And in between when I wake up and lunch, I have 4, 5, maybe 6 bowel movements. The minute you get up, you start eating, you have, what you've done to your body's like, your body said, I ain't finished processing the food from yesterday. And then you go eat and it says, okay, I won't worry about processing that food, I'll process this new food. So now what ends up happening is that unprocessed food sits in your gut. And most doctors say the average person have 10 to 25 pounds of backlog in your colon. Okay? So, this PSA is to teach you and show you that you don't need all that food. If you're not physically active, aka athletes, if you're not young people, all the way up to adulthood, need 3 meals a day. And maybe even older geriatric people need 3 meals a day. But when you're a young adult, you don't need all that food. And I'm telling you, based upon my own personal life experience, okay? So let's move on. Today's video, what we're going to be talking about is the earth providing us with new cell food, all right? So first, we need to understand some basic concepts before we get into the video, all right? So now, you need to understand this concept right here. The more oxygen your cells get, the faster they vibrate. The more oxygen your cells get, the faster they vibrate, the more good stuff they produce. The more they're able to get rid of the bad stuff inside your body, right? So now we know water which is good for us, is H2O. Alright? Now, we're going to talk about hydrogen peroxide next. And I'm not talking about the CVS hydrogen peroxide, because that's less than 1% hydrogen peroxide. I'm talking about food grade 40% hydrogen peroxide that you get at your health food store, that you have to keep it in your freezer. Alright? This hydrogen peroxide, the food grade, when you use it, you probably need to wear gloves, because if it gets on your skin, it will demelanate, take the melanin out your skin temporarily, and you'll get white spots where the hydrogen peroxide has hit you. So during the 90s, when I was opening myself up, I used to take that hydrogen peroxide. You don't need but a few drops in some water. It is fuel, rocket fuel for your cells, right? Food grade hydrogen peroxide is very, very potent. It will act as cell food, it's rocket fuel for your cells, all right? So now, back in the 90s, when I was taking this hydrogen peroxide, and started doing research and study on the hydrogen peroxide, and there's all sorts of good things, how you get rid of this. Do your own research. Food grade hydrogen peroxide will eliminate most diseases, cancers, all right, in your body. Okay? So it's very important that we understand the principle of how oxygen affects our cells. Now, at this time on planet Earth, the oxygen content in the air is 19.5%. 19.5. If you watch the El Nino video, you'll see that I did back in the 90s. The key, you need to go watch the El Nino video on my website, on my YouTube channel, and you'll see why I'm saying 19.5. 19.5, y'all. Go watch the video. Huh? So, the geological record shows us in Earth's past, the oxygen content on the planet was as high as 80%. Alright? And whatever happened on planet Earth to make the oxygen content decrease, we're not sure. We have a clue, but we're not sure. So, we need to understand then, when animals, plants, and human beings exist in an atmosphere where the oxygen content is 30, 40, 50%, the more oxygen your cells get, the more your brain you use. So you go back hundreds of thousands of years, human beings would have higher vibration on the planet because the Schumann resonance was much higher, higher oxygen content. Human beings live eternal based upon our standard. You can have a human being live thousands of years, right? So it's key that we understand the oxygen content on the planet has not always been this low. And as a fact, right now, based upon what scientists are saying, Mother Earth is providing us a new source of oxygen content, right? We're going to get into this, all right? Watch this. All right, now, here we have an article from Science Tech Daily titled, New Type of Extremely Reactive Substance Discovered in the Atmosphere. Oh, Lord, what have we here? We finna find out. We finna find out. All right? Listen, for the first time, an entirely new class of super reactive chemical compounds has been found under atmospheric conditions. Scientists, in close collaboration with international colleagues, have documented the formation of so-called trioxides, people. Tri meaning three oxides. So what we talk about is hydrogen peroxide. Water is H2O. Hydrogen peroxide is H2O2. What they found in the atmosphere is H2O3. So we got another oxygen coming to save our black asses. Huh? See, it's going to save you, because what it's going to do is from the inside out, it's going to raise your vibratory rate. So what they're saying is hydrogen peroxide is a commonly known chemical compound because all peroxides have two oxygen atoms attached to each other. They are highly reactive and often combustible and explosive. Just think that's under controlled conditions inside your body. They are used from everything from whitening teeth and hair to cleaning wounds and even rocket fuel, people. Rocket fuel for your cells. Listen to me now. However, peroxides are also found in the air surrounding us. So what I believe, I don't know shit, but what I believe is that because of the Earth's magnetosphere breaking down, we're getting more highly reactive substances permeating the planet. So here we already know UVA, UVB, UVC rays are off the scales. They're super high. They have raised exponentially. So now we're adding hydrogen trioxide to the mix. What I'm telling you is if you're ready to take control of your ship, become captain of your ship, and when I say captain of your ship, that means controlling the energy, controlling all the organs and glands, because everything on the ship got to follow what the captain say. Alright? So, the rest of this is a bunch of crap. Basically what we're trying to get to is that the scientists have documented that there is more substance in the air that's a cellular food. Just like the UV rays are affecting your cells, so is the trioxide. People, we are going to wake up whether we choose to wake up or not. The earth is being put in a place where either you get up and get down or you got to go. Alright? So now, what we're saying is, for those of you who've been doing the internal work, you need to understand this too. Back in the 90s, when I was doing all the work I was doing to raise my vibrations, now you don't need half as much effort. When I say effort, meaning through all the strict dieting, through all the meditation, using crystals and magnets. The earth is taking care of a lot of that for you. So what we're saying is, keep being students of self and understand that the more you dig inside yourself, the higher your vibration will raise. Alright? So let's take this and move to the next level and understand that we just need to focus our mental, focus our spiritual, and we can turn this thing around. Alright? Peace and love, and we'll see you on the flip side.